Hello and welcome to Baking and Log. I'm Gunnar Larson with a very special guest, Todd Larson, my father. And it's even a more special day because it's his birthday today. And in honor of my father, who loves the Seahawks very much.
Yes, I do.
Very near and dear to his heart. We will be making a Seattle Seahawk birthday cake, which I'm excited about. I think you're excited about it as well.
Very.
Good. Alright, so to make this cake, you will be needing 2 boxes of cake mix, okay? And each box of cake mix calls for 2/3 cup of water, 1/3 cup of vegetable oil, and 2 eggs. So that means that to make 2 of these, you're going to need to double the ingredients, alright? Make sure you got that, alright? Next, you're going to need items, which will be 2 pans. You're going to grease them. I use Crisco, and then I use cocoa powder. You use cocoa powder on chocolate cakes, and you use flour on white cakes. That way, you don't get like a white bottom to your chocolate cake. No one likes that. And then you need a mixing bowl, large preferably, spatula, whisk, and for the decorating, you're going to need 2 tubs of frosting, food coloring, fondant, and I couldn't find black food coloring, so we have black icing, which works just as good for what we need it for. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so our producer had this wonderful idea where we, as father and son, would make the cake at the same time, which is a good idea. So, we're going to start mixing our ingredients together.
Producer is mom, and we do what she says.
Yes, we do. So, did you have something that you wanted to say
Yes,
about
my
the
mom
ingredients?
and my grandmother taught me that you put all of your wet ingredients in first before you put your dry. They taught me that with cookies, and then I learned it with cakes, and pies were a little bit different, but it does relate to the cake. So we put all the wet ingredients in first before we put the dry in, and then mix it all together. So I start with the eggs. And I use 2 hands. I see Gunnar using 1.
I learned this trick on my own, so I'm like really proud of it. It makes me feel fancy, but I'm not really fancy.
Last night, we got home late from the wrestling party, which is the family wrestling party, the fall family wrestling party. And I didn't have time to look at the paper before, but I saw it late last night. And lo and behold, I see Alyssa's picture in the paper, color, biggest picture in the paper actually, on the sports page, for winning and achieving the first team All-State Academic Award for girls golf. That's pretty awesome.
Congrats, Alyssa. Alyssa has not been on the show yet, but we've talked about getting her on the show, brainstormed a bit. I'm pretty excited. She's excited as well. So hopefully in the month of October, when Halloween is, we might be able to get her on the show and do some fun stuff, which I'm excited about. Alyssa's been a good friend for a couple years now.
Okay.
Just keep mixing these all together. I also have a spatula. Since this is the same cake, we can both share the spatula to like scrape the sides. Because sometimes the dry ingredients just get stuck on the sides, and you just want to push them all down into the middle. Keep mixing them up. Make sure everything's mixed well all together. Alright, so we've got our batter and our ingredients all mixed up together. We have preheated our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And now we're going to pour our batter into our pans. We have spatulas to help scrape the sides if need be. Just kind of pour them in there. Aim for the center. Make sure you scrape all the sides and get all of the batter. pan. Alright, so mine's looking pretty good. So is yours. Looks like they're about ready to go in the oven.
I've got mine. I want to mention that I did get 2 videos today. One from Henrik wishing me happy birthday, which is my grandson, from Oklahoma, and it was awesome. And then I got a duo singing me happy birthday from Jackson and Harrison Williams.
Oh, nice.
It was great. And Harrison had his sword going the whole time, and Jackson was Tarzan-esque. Shorts, no shirt, and singing happy birthday to me. It was awesome.
Very nice. Those two are pretty funny. Jackson and Harrison. Alright, well, I think these are ready to go in the oven.
Yes,
yep.
mine is.
Good. Alright, we'll put them in the oven, bake them, and we'll let them cool. Alright, so to make our frosting, the colors that we need, we're going to take our neon green food coloring, and we're going to start putting it in the frosting. We start with white frosting, and I'm just doing about 3 drops at a time and then stirring. And then mixing it together and scraping the sides. And I continue to do this until I get the right color that I want to do, just adding 3 to 4 drops at a time. I do 3 to 4 drops because you can always add more, but you can never take away. So if I add too much and I get a darker green than I want, I can't do anything about it. So I just add a little bit of time until I get the right amount of green in there to get the color that I want. And I continue to do this until I get that color. Next, we make our blue frosting. Add 3 to 4 drops, just like you did with the green frosting, and stir until it's mixed together. I didn't have to add too many drops of blue food coloring this time because it was a darker blue food coloring to start out with, and it mixed up and I got the color that I wanted to pretty soon. So it didn't take too long. Alright, so now that our cake is baking in the oven, we're going to start coloring and cutting out our fondant. This is thick. We've got our Seahawk colors to color the fondant, and we have the Seahawk logo and the shapes cut out. That way we can just, like, once it's folded out and rolled out and everything's colored, we can just lay them on and use a knife to cut out the shapes we need to put on the cake. It'll be easier that way than freehanding because I'm not very artistic, so we're going to be using cutouts instead. First though, we're going to use our pizza cutter because it's sharp to cut out different sections of this fondant here. We have got a lot of blue that we're going to use, so we're going to cut out about 1/4 of the fondant for blue. Then we have gray and a little bit of green, so we're just going to cut out like another 1/4 or so for those two. Whoops. And then we're going to cut that in half, a little bit less than half for the green, because we really don't need a lot of green. And then we're going to use the other half for the white base to lay the other shapes on. Alright, I'm going to sneak a little fondant in there. It's not that bad actually. Alright, so with our fondant that we have here, I'm just going to kind of work it together a little bit, make it soft, pliable. This is like the dough that we used for pretzels. By the way, if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. It's pretty fun with Caleb Berry. But alright, so we kind of got this working. As I said, this will be our blue. So we're gonna get this spread out just a little bit. Make a little hole. I'm just making a little indent here so that when I pour the food coloring in, like some drops, it doesn't run off. Take that food coloring. Just put a couple drops. I'm gonna put like 3 to 4. If you need more, you can always add more. But I'm just gonna start with a couple drops. And then when you get this, you're gonna start working it in. And you're just gonna have to keep moving it around. It's gonna stain your hands a little bit, but the stuff washes off. Don't let it touch your clothes. Yeah, just keep working it around. This will take a while, but it's worth it. You want to make sure that fondant is all colored in blue, and as you can see, it's starting to stain my hands, but that's okay. That's alright. Just keep working it in there. Keep moving it, and we're going to do this until we have the blue we want. Don't forget, you can always add more food coloring into your fondant. So we'll get back to you when this is done, and we'll move on to our other colors. Alright, so we have now finished coloring and kind of kneading our fondant. We have white, blue, green, and gray, which are the colors that we need for the Seahawk logo. So just kind of move this around a little bit more. Alright, we also have some wax paper that we're going to put down. We want this to be rolled out, so we got a rolling pin, we got wax paper, just so it doesn't stick and stuff. Just kind of flatten it out a bit. Undo it. More. Flatten it out. You don't want it to be too thick because that's a lot of fondant to eat. That would be tasty, but it might make you a little bit sick, and we don't want people getting sick. Not in L.O.G. Kind of keep rolling it out until it gets to the thickness that you want it. It's kind of going to be your preference. If you want really thick fondant, then you can have really thick fondant. If not, you don't have to have thick fondant. But once you get kind of like the size you think, we're going to look. That could be a little bit. Hold on. Nope, this is good. You're going to lay your outline out and take your knife, and you're just going to really carefully trace the outline. Okay, this is the easy one because it's just the outline, but this is going to be your base that you're going to put everything else on. But you still got to be careful. Make sure you do not cut yourself. If we wanted red fondant, we would have dyed it red with food coloring. Blood fondant is not what we want. And we're going to do this for all of our shapes, even this one, which will be difficult, but we're going to do it anyways, because that's how we roll on L.O.G. And then we'll get back to you when we're done. Well, we colored our fondant, cut it out, made it into the shapes, got our Seahawk logo all put together. Let me give you a quick look at it. Alright, next is the frosting. We've got our blue and green frosting mixed together as you saw earlier, and we're going to use that to frost our cake. Let's get to it. Alright, so after baking our cakes for about 35 minutes and letting them cool, make sure you do let them cool for quite a bit because you're going to be needing to pick them up and put them on this. And we've got this Lazy Susan, so we can frost and kind of spin it around to help us get the front part. Yeah, but after you let it cool, we can start frosting with our green and our blue. Dad's a pretty good froster, so he's going to frost half of the cake green and the other half blue, and we're using our cake spreading spatulas.
I used to have to do this for my mom because she used to make decorated cakes, but she'd always want you know, the layer, you know, the first layer put on with sons, you know, so we all took turns doing it for her, trying to make sure that we got the icing on it right for her. This icing's a little stiff, so you know, we got to be careful not to tear up the cake.
Yeah.
Because it's not spreading very easily. And it's going to be a little bit thicker than we're going to want it.
Oh, that's all right. More frosting, more sweet it'll taste though.
Right. And we're doing this cake on a great day because today is October 2nd and the Seahawks just finished off the New York Jets 27-17. So everybody's allowed back in the TV room now, and it's all safe because the game's over and the Seahawks have won. Do we have another one of these? So when I do the blue, there you go.
We have another
Great.
one of these.
It's on there now.
We'll just continue doing this to this whole cake, and then we're going to pick up the next cake and put it on top and do the exact same thing. We'll get back to you when we're done with that. Alright, so cake's all frosted. Thank you to Dad. Did a great job. Now we're going to put on the Seahawk logo. Be very careful with this. We don't want it to break. I'm going to take it off the wax paper. Gently. Put your hand underneath of it. Two-hand job if need be. Alright, and we're going to lay it right across the seam. Like that. Just like that. Perfect.
Very nice. And we have the Seahawk cake.
Yep. Alright, well, that's it for today. Thanks for joining us.
How are you going to get this to Mrs. Williams, a piece to her tomorrow?
This is for our birthday party, Dad.
Oh, okay.
This is
All
your
right.
birthday cake.
All right, I thought you get to just eat everything and sample it.
She usually does, but this is for you, Dad. We made this for you. Your
All right.
birthday.
All right. I may let her have a piece tomorrow.
We'll see.
All right, let's put it up so they can see it
Yeah.
without it falling off.
There it is. Like I said, thanks for joining us today. I had a lot of fun hanging out with my dad.
Thanks, buddy.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Alright, see you next week. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video.